Hello, and welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast. I am a woman on a mission to assemble a cadre of writers, thinkers, and teachers who are transforming the world one character at a time. And it all starts with one thing, a deep understanding of human motivation, why people do what they do, and the forces that drive them. To gain that understanding, I am mining the intersection of psychology, theology, and philosophy to make you a better writer. This is episode number 49. Name that character trait. Robin makes a budget. Well, when we do our little break scenarios in between the times when we're studying intensely what are the names of the character traits to go with our groups and subgroups, we take a break every now and then to play a little game to see if we can figure out from a story written on a 4x6 file card, a short little story, what character trait predominates. As you know, for some time now, we've been tracking down the names of the character traits for the stories that we wrote about ourselves or our character at each of the different positions in awareness, so we could assign them a name. Well, let's see where we get with this scenario. Robin makes a budget. Robin had never made a budget before, but she would be a long way from home on her new job, and she wanted to be able to stand on her own 2 feet. Before she could look for an apartment, she had to know how much she could afford to pay for rent. There were so many unknowns. What would utilities cost? Would she be able to get by without a car? She made a list of questions and resolved to get help in finding the answers. What character trait predominates? We'll start as always at the top with the 4 groups: resilience, balance, insight, and empathy. I'll give you a few moments. You can press pause and then figure out which of the 4 groups you think we should focus on. I'll give you a moment to hit the pause button. Okay. Did you come up with an idea of the groups? It seems to me that there are one that we can rule out right away. We're pretty sure it's not empathy because empathy is navigating relationships, and we see here Robin all by herself working out a budget. You might think for a moment that it's managing and assessing oneself because she's putting herself on a budget, and that would be an idea that we could explore. You might think that it's the external physical world, since money is external in the world. I suppose we could look at that one too. And the other one that you could also look at is observation and awareness. Is she looking for insight? Well, I think it's pretty clear that a budget will give you insight. So that's kind of a pretty good guess. But let's play around with it just a little bit, and let's take a look at what we would see if we decided to take a look at the physical world as our first place to go. Once we take a look at the individual character traits within resilience, we can see that we probably don't have a perfect fit. It's probably the courage group doesn't really seem to fit, nor does power really seem to fit. She's not really enduring or meeting challenges. She's really trying to get some insight. So we will pass on that idea. The other one that we might have thought about was managing and assessing oneself, since being on a budget is controlling oneself. So what we would probably find there would be that maybe moderation would fit, or perhaps self-control would fit. Because certainly, to some extent, if you're going to stick to a budget, it's going to require moderation, and it's going to require self-control. So those traits seem to be involved, but they don't seem to be the main one that fits the story. Let's look further. And here we are at insight. As we kind of guessed, this one looks like our probable category. Why don't you go ahead and press the pause button if you need to. I'll give you a space to do that to see if you come up with which character trait you would choose. Did you decide? You could almost say that it was circumspection because she's looking all around at all of the possible costs that go into her budget. So circumspection kind of fits. You could say possibly foresight because she was projecting into the future what she would be able in the future to pay for rent. So that kind of seems to fit too. One that I finally settled on was docility, openness to being taught, because at the end of the scenario, at its very conclusion, she decides that she doesn't have enough information on her own and that she's going to have to get some of her information from others. Did you enjoy our little trip tracking down a character trait? I hope you enjoyed it, because tomorrow we'll go back to working out some specific character traits again. Once again, I wanted to remind you that I have some exciting news. My book is coming out. It's on its way. It's been sent off to the printers, and I'll have a quote pretty soon as to what it's going to cost to print and ship it. And those two numbers are kind of important to me because I am planning on making that book available just at the cost to print it and ship it. As close to free as I can make it. The book is 72 pages. It's in color. I will show it to you as soon as I get my proof copy, which should be in a couple of weeks. And it covers, it's a great summary of everything in my 35 lesson course, and it will give you a lot of detail around these exercises that we've been playing with, trying to track down the emotions. And it gives you a whole lot of information on how to manage a story arc through controlling emotions. So if you are interested in being one of the first to know about that book when it's available, you can head over to my website, KathleenSpracklin.com/earlybird. And there you'll be able to sign up to be notified when my book is available. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.